Hello, this is VaderFan777 for Daily Star Wars Collecting, and today's topic, packaging. Over the years, there have been a lot of different packaging variants, from the Vintage Collection, Saga Legends, back to the Power of the Force, and the original Saga Collection. Now, the first topic that Josh wanted us to talk about was, does packaging really matter to you? Well, to me, it really does depend on what's the figure inside. For like the Saga Legends over here, I really don't care what the packaging looks like. I mean, I'll admit that this packaging isn't their best design. I mean, I think it could be a lot better. Notice it's already open, so obviously I don't really care for this packaging. I mean, it's a nice little photo or portrait up in the corner, but I don't like all the dark colors. I hate the orange. I just think it's really uninspired. The back is like okay, could be a lot better. I mean, the pose they have that guy in is absolutely ridiculous, but you know, I'm not really a fan of the cards either. It's just kind of silly. I mean, it's okay. It serves its purpose to hold the figure in, but you know, I just don't like it. Too big of a bubble, I think. Now, back to the does it really matter? For figures like this, I think it does. This is the rocket firing Boba Fett. I only got one. I didn't send out for two so I could open one, but you know, I don't really need to open it. I think this is the best packaging they've ever had. Just the vintage card backs. They are absolutely incredible. I love the small bubble. The figure fits in there nice and tight. The very little bio in the bottom. The portrait in the back is just absolutely fantastic. And how they go from like the original card. And I just love these kind of card backs. Now this one is very similar to the Saga Collection one I got here. The Han Solo. Another one that I'm just not going to open. Until at least the new one comes out. Alright, next one is, do you open your figures? Some do, some I don't. Obviously, things like this that are mail-aways, and I know I won't need for dioramas or just for fun, I'm not going to open. Why would I need an old-looking Boba Fett when I have the new Vintage Collection one? I mean, for people like, from the original generation of Star Wars fans, like Josh, who really liked these things and really, really wanted the rocket firing one, that's great. More power to you, but, you know, I just see no point of opening it. I'm never going to sell it either, so it's just kind of a nostalgia thing. I bet you're wondering why I'm keeping this guy carded, the Power of the Force. I mean, he's not a rare figure, he's not a great figure. Well, the reason I'm not opening it is because ATST driver I don't need. I don't have an ATST to begin with, and why would I need a driver for it? Especially because I have that like, puffy, big chest, the weird action poses. I mean, no articulation. But I'm keeping him carded, so when I get more of those, you know, I can have a bunch of them on the card on my walls. But obviously some I do, like the Saga Legends guy over here. If I need more Stormtroopers, more Death Star Troopers, Army Builders, you know, I'll open them. I play, and I sometimes play with my figures. I mostly set up dioramas with them, but, you know, they are kind of fun. Next question on the list here is, do you keep the open cards? Now, if you looked at just this, it would look like I do keep the open cards. But that's not true whatsoever. The reason I'm keeping this is because on my other channel I'm going to be doing a review on him. So that's why I'm keeping his card. Mostly I just throw the cards right in the trash as soon as I open the figure. Do you like the new Vintage Collection packaging? Do you think it's worth the price for the new design? Yes and no. For an example here, let me just move this back. For my birthday, I got this guy. The Vintage Collection Y-Wing. It was $40 in stores. No figures included. Now, I thought that was kind of a rip. No figures included, 40 bucks. But, you know, I got the thing, I opened it. I thought it was kind of worth it. I really do like the Y-Wing. It's not as nice, I would say, as the Clone Wars one. But, you know, I do like it. Toys R Us exclusive up there. I mean, it's really going back to the original Kenner logos. It's really nice. The problem is that for younger fans like me, you know, it's not as much nostalgia as now we have to pay $5 more for our vehicle. You know, so that kind of stinks. But, you know, Now, this is not as good as an example as the Luke Skywalker Tauntaun. That is just ridiculous. I don't want to pay an extra $5 for something that I can get for like $25 with 2 figures in the Search for Luke Skywalker Battle Pack. It's just kind of seems strange that way they wouldn't even include any figures with these new vehicles, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. What are you gonna do? Put that over here. So, price, I'm willing to pay an extra $1 for the basic figures because I'm gonna try to get some carded. But for vehicles, I think it's kind of a ripoff. The foil and the Revenge of the Jedi cards. The foil, I really could care less about. Most of my vintage cards are opened. I don't care if they're shiny on the outside. But the Revenge of the Jedi cards, I wouldn't mind getting the same figure again on a Revenge card just to keep. I know it sounds weird, but you know, I don't mind it. I'll pay the money. It's not like they're charging even more for the Revenge cards, so you know. Will modern figures ever be as valuable as the vintage figures? Yes. Because as vintage figures keep getting older and older, they do gain in value. But some figures, like the rocket firing Boba Fett over there, were never made in the vintage. So maybe they'll be worth more. Or like the Dak Raltar. That's the first time he's ever been put on a vintage collection card. So that's kind of the vintage version of him. So I think in time they will be worth as much. I mean, I don't know how much money a vintage ATST driver goes for. I paid $14 for him. That's twice as much as he was worth back in the 80s. So, or the 90s. So the price is going up. I paid $10 for the Saga guy, so they're not going up. So you never know. Maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. Now, what about these Clone Wars in packaging dioramas? I think they're a nice concept for people that display their vehicles. I don't keep them. I mean, I used to keep them, but then they were just taking up way too much space, and I don't have enough space to begin with. So I usually just either throw them in a closet somewhere or chuck them. They're nice. If I had the room, I'd keep them, but, you know, gotta make room for more stuff, you know? And in your opinion, what is the best packaging? I have to go with the vintage collection. None of these are nearly as good as the vintage collection. Vehicles and figures. Going back to the rocket fire and Boba Fett, just an absolute perfect packaging there. I have no idea how they could have made it better. The only way... Actually, yeah, I do. When they were shipped out, you know, kind of damaged the card, but the card itself is just wonderful packaging. I love the old style. And I think that that's a real... It really makes me want to buy these figures and keep them on the card even more. So that's my views on Star Wars packaging. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really enjoyed talking about this topic. I'll see you guys next week with another great video and another great week of daily Star Wars collecting. Have a wonderful holiday, and may the Force